Hello everyone, hello again from USA Canada Visa Help. And today I will discuss on a very important thing, that is you will be applying for a postgraduate work permit after you have completed your studies in Canada, right? So how you will be eligible, like what are the eligibility criteria based on which Canadian visa related embassy officers will determine whether, or Canadian immigration officers will determine whether you will be given the work permit, right? So for getting yourself eligible for work permit, you have to comply with some of the rules. One of the rules is most important rule is you will have to apply within 180 days after you have completed. Okay, so you have up to 180 days after you graduate to apply for a PGWP, means postgraduate work permit. So this is the rule, you need to follow this. You cannot go beyond 180 days after your degree is completed. How your degree is completed? Your degree is completed in any of the three ways. Like when your school notifies you, I will tell you how you understand that your degree is completed. Your degree is completed by any of the three things. Your school has given you a letter that you have completed your degree. And that is at one way. Another way is your school can email you the transcript or mail you the transcript to your address. And another way is your school can notify you that you have completed the degree or award the degree by a program like commencement program or graduation ceremony or convocation, whatever you say. So these are the three ways you will be able to understand that your degree is completed or your program of study is completed, and from that day you have 180 days to apply for your postgraduate work permit, and if you go beyond that you cannot apply for your postgraduate work permit. Okay, so this is the rule you have to understand and you have to comply. And another thing you have to keep in mind that there are some rules, like your program has to be a program at a designated learning institute. If your program of study is not from a designated learning institute, or DLI in short, you will not be eligible. Okay, so always keep in mind. And also another rule is maintain full-time status as a student in Canada during each semester of your study program. So in any of the semester, if you break the rule, you switch from full-time to part-time, then you will be violating the rule and you will not become eligible. But the exception is there if you study part-time during your final semester. Okay, all other semesters you have done full-time, but only part-time in the final semester, it's okay. It is okay. But normally everybody has to remain in full-time study in all the semesters. Okay, taking an approval leave from your studies, this is another rule. So if you are approved for leave for a while from the school, then it's okay. Okay, so these are the two exceptions, and this is another, having to stop studying or changing to part-time studies between March. This is the COVID-19 time, so that is a different issue. So this is no longer applicable. This is not COVID time, so don't worry about this at all. And another thing, have a study permit that has been valid within the last 180 days. That is the same thing we have seen in above statement, so maintain this. And another thing, submitted an application to extend your study permit in Canada before your study permit expired and no decision has been made on your application. Okay, so you have already completed a study okay, it was like valid. And then within the period of your validity of your study permit, if you have applied for another study permit and there is no decision made, that is also okay. You can be considered as within Canada with a legal study permit, and therefore you will be eligible. So these are the criteria you have to understand and comply, okay? And another thing you have to keep in mind, which is the passport expiry. If your passport expires before your postgraduate work permit, so if like your passport has only 1 year expiry, but your postgraduate work permit is like gonna be 3 years for your study, then you will not be given 3 years of PGWP because your passport will expire within 1 year. So make sure passport is valid for the entire length of time of your PGWP will be. So if your passport expires before your PGWP, then Canada will issue you a postgraduate work permit that is only valid until your passport expires. So they will not issue you a PGWP beyond your passport expiry date. So always keep in mind. And another thing you have to keep in mind, your study cannot be less than 8 months. If your study is less than 8 months in length, you will not be given any postgraduate work permit, okay? So in the next video, I will discuss on how long your postgraduate work permit will be, or how long you will be able to work in Canada with your studies. It depends on your program, okay? So I will discuss this in the next video. Until then, have a good day and keep watching. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.